Hello, esteemed gentlemen. The smartest man in the room is rarely the loudest. He's the one quietly observing, calculating, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Intelligence isn't just about IQ scores or academic achievements. It's about how you think, how you adapt, and how you navigate a world full of noise and nonsense. And if there's one type of man who embodies raw, strategic intelligence without needing validation from society, it's the Sigma male. Here's a fact that might rattle a few egos. Some of the most influential minds in history, Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, and even modern-day disruptors like Elon Musk, have exhibited traits strikingly similar to Sigmas. These men weren't interested in fitting in. They weren't the ones shouting for attention. They were the ones silently revolutionizing the world while the rest were busy trying to impress each other. And let's be honest, while most people are out here debating who's an alpha or beta like it's some kind of high school food chain, the Sigma male is already 5 moves ahead, sipping his coffee and mentally dismantling the entire system. So what makes a Sigma male dangerously intelligent? Buckle up, because we're about to dive into 11 brutally honest, mind-bending reasons why these men operate on a whole different level. Number 1. They can think like the enemy without becoming one. Most people struggle to predict the moves of their enemies because they're trapped in their own perspective. They react emotionally, assume everyone thinks like they do, and get blindsided by deception. Sigma males? They play a different game entirely. They don't just observe their opponents, they become them, mentally at least. They don't fall into the trap of seeing their enemies as villains in some personal drama. Instead, they step inside their adversary's mind, stripping away bias and ego. They ask, if I were them, with their resources, their mindset, and their limitations, what would I do next? This ability to think like the enemy, without becoming one, gives them an almost unfair advantage. It allows them to anticipate moves before they happen, counter threats before they materialize, and dismantle manipulation before it even reaches them. This is why you'll rarely see a Sigma male caught off guard in conflicts, business, or social situations. They don't react, they predict, and they don't predict randomly. They base their foresight on deep psychological understanding. They study behavior patterns, past actions, and subtle cues most people overlook. While others are busy responding to surface-level words and gestures, Sigmas are analyzing the intent behind them. But here's where their intelligence truly shines. They never let this knowledge corrupt them. They can think like a manipulator without becoming one. They can see through lies without needing to lie themselves. While many people, once exposed to power tactics, start using them recklessly, Sigma males remain in control. They know that true intelligence isn't just about knowing what can be done, it's about knowing what should be done. This makes them exceptionally dangerous in any competition. The manipulator trying to pull strings. The Sigma already knows their next 5 moves. The rival looking to exploit a weakness. The Sigma has already sealed every possible entry point. By the time the enemy realizes what's happening, they're not just outplayed. They're outmaneuvered before they even knew the game had started. This is the level of intelligence that separates Sigma males from the rest. They don't just play chess while others play checkers. They are the ones designing the game board. Number 2. They think in layers, not straight lines. Most people approach problems the way a train follows a track, straight ahead, one step at a time, predictable and rigid. Sigma males, on the other hand, don't see a single track. They see an entire map. Their intelligence isn't confined to simple cause and effect thinking. They don't just ask, what happens next? They ask, what are all the possible outcomes, hidden influences, and second-order effects of this decision? This is why they're nearly impossible to manipulate or outthink. When presented with a problem, most people either react impulsively or overanalyze it in a narrow, limited way. Sigmas don't fall into either trap. They dissect situations from every possible angle, socially, psychologically, strategically, until they've built a complete mental blueprint of what's really going on beneath the surface. Let's say a company offers them a high-paying job. The average person sees a paycheck and an offer letter. A Sigma sees the unspoken power dynamics, the long-term trajectory of the company, potential hidden clauses in the contract, and how accepting the job might affect their freedom in the future. They're not just thinking, is this a good salary? They're thinking, what's the true cost of this decision 5 years down the road? Their minds function like a chessboard, where every move isn't just about the immediate gain, but also about how it influences future moves. Most people react to problems like a game of checkers, quick, simple, one-step decisions. Sigmas see problems as a layered puzzle, where every piece is connected to something larger. This is why they excel in fields that require strategic foresight, business, investing, technology, even social interactions. They don't just solve problems, they decode the entire system behind them. This ability makes them unsettling to those who think in straight lines. People often assume Sigmas are overanalyzing or paranoid, but in reality, they're simply playing on a level others can't perceive. They don't just see the obvious answers, they see the answers hidden behind the answers. And that's why they almost always stay ahead. Number 3. They absorb knowledge like a data sponge. Most people spend their free time drowning in mindless entertainment, scrolling endlessly, binge-watching shows, or consuming gossip that adds nothing to their lives. Sigma males, they operate differently. They don't just consume information, they devour it, process it, and turn it into something useful. Their minds function like high-powered data processors, constantly absorbing and refining knowledge in ways that most people can't even comprehend. What makes their learning style unique is that they don't settle for surface-level understanding. If they're interested in psychology, they don't just read self-help books. They study raw psychological theories, analyze human behavior in real time, and experiment with applying those insights in daily life. If they want to master a skill, they don't rely on generic tutorials. They dive straight into the deepest, most complex aspects of it, breaking it down until they understand it better than most experts. Their curiosity has no limits. They'll learn about quantum mechanics not because they need to, but because they want to. They'll explore obscure topics, ancient philosophy, military strategy, behavioral economics, not because it's trendy, but because they recognize the hidden value in unconventional knowledge. What others see as random information, a Sigma sees as a future advantage. This relentless pursuit of knowledge is why they often seem to know a little or a lot about everything. Ask them about history, and they'll reference an obscure but game-changing event. Mention a business idea, and they'll break down its weaknesses before you even finish your sentence. Bring up human psychology, and they'll explain why people behave the way they do before most even recognize a pattern. And here's the kicker. They don't just collect knowledge for the sake of it. They absorb, analyze, and apply it with surgical precision. Their intelligence isn't just about knowing things, it's about knowing how to use what they know. While most people are busy entertaining themselves, Sigma males are sharpening their minds like weapons, always preparing for the next opportunity to outthink the world around them. Number 4. They have an uncompromising relationship with truth. Most people can't handle the truth, not because it's unavailable, but because it's uncomfortable. They cling to illusions, sugarcoat their realities, and build their lives around convenient lies just to avoid the discomfort of facing what is. Sigma males? They don't have that luxury. They don't want it either. They embrace reality exactly as it is, raw, unfiltered, and sometimes brutal. This is what separates them from the masses. While others deceive themselves with wishful thinking, Sigmas dissect reality with surgical precision. They don't pretend things are better than they are. If a business idea is flawed, they'll admit it and pivot. If a relationship is toxic, they'll cut ties without hesitation. If they themselves are the problem, they'll acknowledge it and evolve. There's no ego, no denial, no excuses, just a relentless commitment to what's real. This level of honesty makes them unsettling to most people. Society thrives on comforting lies, whether it's in relationships, careers, or social norms. People would rather believe success is about luck than admit they lack discipline. They'd rather blame external factors than confront their own shortcomings. Sigmas don't entertain these delusions. They call things out for what they are, even if it makes them unpopular. This brutal honesty doesn't just apply to the world around them, it applies to themselves too. Sigmas don't inflate their egos or pretend they're perfect. They analyze their own flaws with the same intensity they analyze everything else. If they lack a skill, they'll admit it and develop it. If they make a mistake, they own it. If they need to change, they don't just talk about it, they do it. This self-awareness gives them an advantage most people will never have: the ability to improve continuously without the baggage of denial. Their relationship with truth also makes them dangerous in any competition. They don't underestimate opponents, they don't overestimate themselves, and they don't make decisions based on emotion. They see things exactly as they are, while everyone else is lost in their own narratives. And that's why, in the long run, Sigma males don't just survive, they dominate. Number 5, they engineer their own mental algorithms. Most people think the way they were programmed to think, by society, school, media, and their upbringing. They follow the same mental loops, repeat the same thought patterns, and rarely question how they think in the first place. Sigma males? They refuse to accept pre-installed mental software. Instead, they engineer their own mental algorithms, refining their thought processes like a high-level coder optimizing a complex system. They don't just absorb random information and hope it makes them smarter. They actively curate their knowledge, filtering out distractions and useless noise. If a new idea doesn't fit into their mental framework in a meaningful way, they discard it. This allows them to think with extreme clarity, free from the clutter that slows most people down. But what really sets them apart is how they optimize their thinking. They analyze how they make decisions, where their biases might be, and how they can streamline their mental processes for efficiency. If they notice an emotional reaction clouding their judgment, they reprogram themselves to detach and analyze logically. If they recognize a flaw in their reasoning, they rewrite the internal code until their thinking is razor-sharp. This self-engineered mindset makes them unpredictable. While most people rely on instinct, habit, or social conditioning, Sigmas operate on a system they built themselves. They don't just react, they calculate. They don't just follow patterns, they create them. This is why they seem to be 3 steps ahead in conversations, business, and problem-solving. Their minds aren't running on factory settings, they're running on a system built for peak efficiency. And the best part, this system is constantly evolving. Sigmas never settle for good enough. They update their mental algorithms as they grow, sharpening their intelligence with every experience. While most people are stuck in outdated ways of thinking, Sigmas keep upgrading, becoming smarter, faster, and more adaptable than anyone else in the room. Number 6. They are masters of controlled energy expenditure. Most people waste energy like a leaking faucet, dripping it away on arguments, attention-seeking, and battles that don't matter. They burn themselves out trying to prove a point, impress people who don't care, or engage in meaningless drama. Sigma males, they don't play that game. They treat their energy like a finite resource, investing it only where it truly matters. They don't get sucked into petty conflicts because they know most fights are fueled by ego, not logic. They don't waste time debating people who are more interested in being right than in finding the truth. Instead, they observe, calculate, and choose their battles with surgical precision. If engaging won't lead to a meaningful outcome, they let it go. If a fight is unavoidable, they end it swiftly. No theatrics, no wasted motion, just pure efficiency. This mindset extends beyond conflict. Sigmas don't chase validation. They don't need to prove their intelligence, dominance, or worth to anyone. While others are busy posturing and flexing their egos, Sigmas remain focused on things that actually move the needle: personal growth, strategic moves, and long-term wins. Their ability to conserve energy makes them incredibly effective. They don't spread themselves thin trying to do everything. They focus on the right things, cutting out distractions and irrelevant noise. When they work with intensity. When they rest, they disconnect completely. This balance allows them to operate at peak efficiency without burning out like most high achievers. And when they do strike, whether in business, social dynamics, or problem solving, they hit with precision. They don't make reckless moves, they make decisive ones. They understand that true power isn't in constant action, it's in controlled action. This is why they seem calm, composed, and always in control. While the world runs in circles, chasing every distraction, the Sigma male moves with intent, always one step ahead, never wasting a single ounce of energy on what doesn't serve his purpose. Number 7. They learn from every human interaction, even the mundane. Most people drift through conversations without much thought, nodding, smiling, making small talk, and forgetting everything 5 minutes later. For them, social interactions are just background noise, a routine exchange of words with no real significance. Sigma males? They see every conversation as a window into human psychology, a chance to refine their understanding of people and the world around them. They aren't just listening to words, they're dissecting how things are said, why they're said, and what's not being said. The nervous twitch in someone's eye, the slight hesitation before answering, the forced laughter. These aren't just details to a Sigma, they're data points. They reveal confidence or insecurity, deception or honesty, dominance or submission. While most people take words at face value, Sigmas decode the underlying motives and thought processes beneath them. This ability makes them socially unpredictable. They can blend in effortlessly, mirroring the energy of a room when necessary, or remain completely detached, choosing to observe rather than engage. They don't need long conversations to understand people. Even the most mundane exchanges give them insights into personality types, emotional triggers, and unspoken hierarchies. Sigmas also recognize patterns over time. They notice how certain personality types react in different situations, how people reveal their true nature under pressure, and how manipulation plays out in real time. They store this knowledge, refining their instincts and sharpening their ability to navigate any social landscape with precision. This is why they often seem one step ahead in conversations. They know what questions to ask, what topics to avoid, and how to push just the right psychological buttons when needed. Their understanding of people isn't based on theory. It's built from direct experience, gathered silently from countless interactions that others dismiss as meaningless. While most people talk just to fill silence, Sigmas listen to extract intelligence. They study people without them even realizing it. And by doing so, they gain an advantage in every social, business, and strategic situation they encounter. Number 8. They are masters of psychological distancing. Most people are slaves to their emotions, reacting impulsively, making decisions based on fleeting feelings, and getting entangled in drama that drains their energy. Sigma males? They operate on a different level entirely. Their ability to detach from emotions isn't just a personality trait, it's a finely honed skill that gives them a massive strategic edge in every aspect of life. They don't suppress emotions or pretend they don't exist. Instead, they observe them like an outsider, analyzing their feelings without letting them dictate their actions. Where others panic under pressure, Sigmas remain calm. Where others get consumed by anger or heartbreak, Sigmas step back and assess the situation logically. This makes them nearly impossible to manipulate. Guilt-tripping, emotional baiting, or peer pressure simply don't work on them. They see right through it and respond with cold, calculated precision. This detachment also allows them to make decisions with ruthless objectivity. They don't make choices based on what feels good in the moment, they make choices based on what actually works. If they need to walk away from a bad deal, they won't hesitate. If they need to cut ties with someone toxic, they won't let emotions hold them back. While others drown in regret or overthink their choices, Sigmas move forward, unaffected by emotional baggage. This psychological distancing extends beyond personal matters. In negotiations, they stay composed, while their opponents get flustered. In conflicts, they remain in control, while others lash out. In high-pressure situations, they make the right call, while others freeze up. Their ability to remove emotions from decision-making makes them unpredictable, intimidating, and dangerously effective. But here's the real power behind it. Because they control their emotions never control them. They don't get distracted by temporary highs or lows. They stay focused, methodical, and always a step ahead, while the rest of the world wastes time fighting battles with their own feelings. Number 9. They observe before they engage. Most people enter a room and immediately try to establish themselves. whether by speaking loudly, making their presence known, or forcing interactions. They want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. Sigma males? They do the opposite. They observe first, engage later, if at all. When a Sigma steps into a new environment, they aren't concerned with impressing anyone. Instead, they shift into analysis mode. They scan the room, noting body language, tone shifts, social hierarchies, and hidden tensions. They aren't just looking at what's happening, they're decoding why it's happening. Who holds real power in the group? Who's overcompensating? Who's insecure? Most people miss these details. Sigmas absorb them like data, silently building a psychological map of their surroundings. This ability makes them highly effective in any situation. While others act impulsively, Sigmas wait for the perfect moment. They don't waste words in conversations. They speak when it matters. They don't reveal their intentions immediately. They let others show their hands first. They don't get baited into unnecessary conflicts. They calculate whether engagement is even worth their time. This strategic patience gives them a lethal advantage. When they do act, it's not random. It's precise, deliberate, and often game-changing. This is why Sigmas often appear mysterious or unpredictable. People can't get a read on them because they don't react like everyone else. They aren't eager to prove themselves. They don't seek attention. They simply watch, learn, and strike only when necessary. This also makes them incredibly difficult to manipulate. A manipulator thrives on quick reactions, emotional responses, knee-jerk decisions. But Sigmas don't play that game. By the time someone tries to influence them, they've already analyzed the entire situation, predicted the angle, and decided whether or not they'll even engage. It's a simple but devastatingly effective strategy. Observe everything, say little, act only when the time is right, and when that moment comes, it's already too late for anyone trying to oppose them. Number 10. They decode the hidden motives of others instantly. Most people take words at face value. They assume what's being said is the full truth, missing the deeper layers of intent behind every conversation. Sigma males? They don't just listen, they decode. Every interaction is a puzzle, and they instinctively analyze tone, body language, and micro-expressions to uncover what's really being communicated. They notice the slight hesitation before an answer, the forced smile that doesn't reach the eyes, the nervous shift in posture when a lie is told. To them, deception isn't just about what is said, it's about how it's said, and more importantly, what's left unsaid. While others get fooled by smooth talkers and surface-level charm, Sigmas pick up on the smallest inconsistencies that expose a person's true nature. This ability makes them nearly impossible to manipulate. They recognize when someone is being overly agreeable to gain favor, when fake humility is just a disguise for arrogance, or when a compliment is actually a strategic move to soften them up. They don't get emotionally baited into traps, nor do they fall for guilt-tripping or flattery. Their hyper-awareness allows them to sidestep social games while others get caught in them. But it's not just about detecting lies. It's about understanding motives. They see why people act the way they do. Whether it's insecurity masked as confidence, desperation hidden behind indifference, or a hidden power play disguised as kindness, Sigmas dissect human behavior with precision. This insight gives them a significant edge in business, relationships, and high-stakes situations. They always know who's trustworthy, who's dangerous, and who's trying to play them. This is why Sigmas always seem 5 steps ahead in social dynamics. They don't react impulsively or emotionally because they already see the game being played. And in a world where deception is common and hidden motives are everywhere, the ability to read people with absolute clarity isn't just valuable, it's lethal. Number 11. They are intellectual chameleons adapting without losing identity. Most people either conform completely to their surroundings or stubbornly resist change, making them rigid and predictable. Sigma males? They do neither. Instead, they operate like intellectual chameleons, adapting to any environment while staying completely in control of their own identity. They don't mimic others to fit in, nor do they force themselves to stand out. Instead, they adjust their external approach while keeping their internal principles intact. In a room full of executives, they speak the language of business. Around creatives, they engage in deep, philosophical discussions. In unfamiliar cultures, they absorb the norms, learning quickly without feeling the need to prove themselves. But no matter where they are or who they interact with, their core essence remains untouched. This ability makes them highly effective in any social or professional setting. While most people struggle with imposter syndrome or feel pressure to conform, Sigmas extract what's useful from every environment and discard the rest. They aren't trying to impress anyone. They're simply gathering intel, learning new strategies, and refining their own worldview. What makes this skill lethal is that it allows them to see through social structures without being bound by them. They understand hierarchy but don't need to submit to it. They recognize social norms but don't feel pressured to follow them. They can navigate different industries, communities, or cultures with ease, gaining knowledge and influence while remaining entirely self-contained. This is why Sigmas are often mistaken for being insiders, when in reality they're simply passing through. They don't need to belong. They don't seek validation. They move through life on their own terms, adapting when necessary, but never compromising who they are. While others are shaped by their environment, the Sigma male shapes himself. A true intellectual nomad, unbound, unpredictable, and always in control. Intelligence isn't just about knowing things, it's about how you think, how you operate, and how you move through the world, while everyone else is trapped in predictable patterns. Sigma males don't just possess intelligence, they weaponize it. They see what others miss, move in ways others can't predict, and operate on a level most people don't even realize exists. While the masses are distracted by fleeting emotions, trivial conflicts, and mindless entertainment, Sigmas are sharpening their mental arsenal. They don't waste energy proving themselves. They don't seek approval. They don't engage in battles that don't serve a purpose. Instead, they refine their knowledge, optimize their thinking, and execute with ruthless precision. This is what makes them dangerous, not in a reckless or impulsive way, but in a calculated way. They think in layers, anticipate moves before they happen, and never allow emotions to cloud their vision. They don't just play the game of life, they redesign the entire board. And while others are busy reacting, struggling, or second-guessing themselves, the Sigma male has already moved 3 steps ahead, calm, controlled, and always in command. The difference between an average mind and a Sigma mind isn't just intelligence, it's how you use it. If you're still thinking in straight lines, reacting emotionally, or wasting energy on things that don't serve you, it's time to upgrade your mental operating system. Start thinking in layers. Study people, not just their words. Cut out distractions. Move with intention. And most importantly, observe before you engage. The world belongs to those who can see beyond the obvious, who control their emotions instead of being controlled by them, and who make calculated moves while everyone else plays checkers. If you want to be unpredictable, untouchable, and ahead of the curve, stop chasing approval and start refining yourself. Because in the end, the ones who truly win aren't the loudest or the flashiest. They're the ones who think sharper, move smarter, and strike only when it truly matters.